Hi, my name is Emma Rickstein, and this is my presentation on Czechs of Nebraska. The reason I picked the culture of the Czechs is because I live in a small town of Seward, Nebraska, and we are surrounded by many other small towns like Dwight, Brainerd, Wilbur, Milligan, Dorchester, and these towns' population consists of mainly the Czech culture. This next slide talks about the immigration of the Czechs from Czechoslovakia to Nebraska. They came to Nebraska between 1856 and World War I, and the reasons they came here is because of overpopulation within the rural areas of the Czech Republic, and then also worsening economic conditions, most likely related to this overpopulation of these rural areas. They also were seeking political freedom and escaping the Habsburg monarchy, and also escaping conflict with the Germans. There was also a lot of oppression from the Catholic Church, and so they were trying to escape that as well. So they came here to Nebraska. Why did they choose Nebraska of all places in the United States? They saw many of advertisements and also articles in magazines written usually from the Burlington Northern or this Hospodar magazine, which there's a picture here of, and they advertised land that was for sale and promoted settling here in Nebraska. And a lot of the Czechs came here and settled on this land, and many of them became farmers. Some Czech culture considerations associated with healthcare that us healthcare providers need to take into consideration is language. Some of the elderly population within the Czech culture here in Nebraska still speaks Czech, but a majority of the Czech culture speaks English, and so not a whole lot of hassle when communicating with this culture in the hospitals. Foods that the Czechs like, they love kolaches, which is pictured here. It is a roll with jelly in the middle. Pork, sauerkraut, dumplings, and fish. They are Catholic, most of them are Catholic, and so they eat fish on Fridays during Lent, or no meat Fridays. So that would be an option for them for their meals while hospitalized or in a healthcare setting. Another consideration is their religion, which is mainly Catholic. Sacraments and blessings, such as the last rites. When a patient is dying, the priest will often come and give them their last rites. And then also other sacraments and blessings within the Catholic religion prior to any surgeries or big events or procedures that are planned within hospitalizations. Baptism is another thing. The Catholic religion prefers the priest to baptize the babies, but if there is a baby that is imminent death is near, then anybody can baptize that baby that is able to do so. Communion is another thing that they might ask for while in the hospital, especially before big procedures. Fridays, again, with Lent, no meat Fridays. And then the priest may help these patients make big decisions regarding their health care. Other considerations with the Czech culture and health are obesity and overweight. A lot of this culture tends to be overweight, and that also has to do with lack of physical activity. And then also they can be heavy drinkers, alcoholism, or smokers. So some education just regarding, increasing their physical activity, staying active, diets, or not necessarily diets, but healthy choices for foods, and then education on smoking and alcohol cessation. Just a random fact about the Czech culture here in Nebraska is all of these small towns that I listed before usually have a Czech festival. This is to help preserve the Czech culture here in Nebraska and within their culture. This started in Wilbur. In 1962 was the first Czech festival, and Wilbur is known as the Czech capital of the USA. These festivals, they dress in Czech dresses and vests and costume. They do folk dances, music is really big, the polka, play the accordion. They sell goods and arts made by Czech people. Food is huge. They always have a duck and dumpling meal, and then of course pivo, which stands for beer. This concludes my presentation on Czechs of Nebraska.